Hi guys! Whoa, whoa! It's Dan O'Connor and Andrew again, and we are broadcast. Oh, looks like it might be a little bit shaky.
Yep.
Here we go. We are not having the same technical difficulties as we did yesterday. How about that? So we are broadcasting live from beautiful. Technically, we're in the Ajijic Lake Chapala area today. We are in the pueblo of San Antonio, Tlayacapan, and we are nestled in the bosom of the Sierra Madre Mountains here at the Lake Chapala region. So today is a very special very special episode, and we have very special guests with us, right, Andrew? Today we have very special members. Who do we have with us so far that are members?
Nobody's on the chat, but we have 3 people watching.
Okay. Make sure to join our live chat, and if you wanted to jump right to the top of the queue, you can become a member to the Dan O'Connor Training Channel, and you will jump right up to the top of the queue. So today, it's on forgiveness. By the way, those who are listening, can you hear me okay? I want to make sure that I don't have any technical difficulties because today is a biggie. What do they say, Andrew?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Are you listening? Can you hear me, do you think?
Talk?
We're going to have Andrew give us a listen. You can hear us fine?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. Does anybody listening have a situation right now that you're having trouble letting go of? Or have somebody that you're having trouble forgiving? For example, earlier yesterday, I was talking to a gentleman, Leo. He was accused of a very serious crime about 10 years ago, and I was witness to the event. He was not at all part of it, however, was sent to prison for 7 years. And when he came out of prison, he was happy as a loon, as if he had never been in prison to begin with. And it's fascinating to me how he has found the forgiveness in his heart to just keep going as if he didn't lose 7 years of his life. And the common thread that he has, when I asked him, why do you forgive? How did you let that go? Is the same common thread that you will hear people talk about when, for example, Elizabeth Smart, do you remember her? She was the little girl who was kidnapped. And she was pretty much written off as never going to find her again. And she has a TedTalks YouTube episode right now that you can see, where she describes her years in captivity. And while she was in captivity, chained by the ankle to the ground, she gave birth, I think, to 3 of her captors' babies, and lost all of her teenage years, and managed to forgive her captor. Just like some of the recent unfortunate victims of the unfortunate gun violence in the US, when they are able to forgive the people who killed their loved ones or maimed them, what is the common thread? What is the thing that they all say? The Auschwitz survivors, what do they say when you ask them, how could you find it in your heart to forgive? What do you think it is, guys? What is it? Andrew?
Yes.
Are you having trouble forgiving somebody?
Yeah.
Who?
My ex-girlfriend.
For what? His ex-girlfriend. This is news to us. So while you think about it, we're going to get a little bit of information from Andrew. Andrew, why did you have trouble forgiving your ex-girlfriend? What did she do?
She cheated on me.
She cheated on you.
Yeah.
How so? Give us the details, Andrew.
Well, I'm not a very jealous type, or I don't think so. So I gave her total liberty of doing what she wanted.
Mistake number 1, he gave her total liberty to do what she wanted. Go on.
Okay, and well, people told me, oh, I've been seeing this girl with this guy.
Oh, and people told you, and you denied that because not her, right?
Well, I told her, and she said, no, well, nothing's happening, he's just a friend, and I believed her.
Uh-huh.
And then it all went south from there.
How many times did you have to discover it before you finally got it through your head that she was in another relationship with somebody?
Well, one of my close friends told me, and then that's when I knew he wouldn't lie, so that's when I told her, okay.
So when you finally got through your head that she was cheating, you broke up with her?
Yeah.
One time? I mean, that once you finally figured it out?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It took me, well, see, that's the thing I struggle with.
Uh-huh.
When I am in a relationship with somebody, you know, I've had a few, I'm a serial monogamist. There's only one person still alive, basically, that I've been in a relationship with. All the others have gone to meet their great reward. And one of the reasons that I believe I have had long-lasting relationships is because when I go into them, I always make sure to say, you know, hey, you know, some people say if you cheat on me, if you betray me, if you do this, that, and the other, that is going to be a deal breaker. But right there, you're putting a condition on the love, the relationship. Not to say that you shouldn't, because how old were you?
17.
17, yeah, you don't put up with that at 17. You don't have any investments. You don't have a whole life you've built. You move along, move along. However, I struggle with that. I struggle with setting boundaries in my relationships. And I tend to, you know, like the first time I found out that someone was cheating on me, I forgave and let go. The second time when they cheated on me with the same person, I struggled with that.
Uh-huh.
The third time, I was really laying down the law. And after that is when it came to a boiling point. And while the relationship changed form, this is a big part of forgiveness. Before we get to the big grand reason, the common thread that everybody has in common, remember that you can leave somebody in a loving way. You can quit your job in a loving way. When you forgive somebody, you do not, I don't mean to say, for example, if you're working with people who steal your ideas, are treacherous, they undermine you, you know, they have the worst intentions for you. To forgive is different from forgetting, you know what I mean? I can forgive you, but also make sure that you don't hurt me. I can forgive you while I put distance between the two of us. I can forgive you while our relationship changes form. But the substance, you know, the love that you have with your coworkers, you know, there's love and lovelessness. So if we are working with people who have gotten the issues in us to come up to the extent that we are now bothered by it, you know, forgiveness is now becoming part of the equation. They're just bringing up things within us. And when it starts to become, as I was saying, part of the equation, forgiveness, you know, for me to move along, I have to decide whether or not to forgive you. That's when we have to start learning really the rules of forgiveness. What's effective, what's not, and how to do it, and why to do it. So there is, as we were just talking about, a big difference between saying to somebody, I forgive you, and it's okay. So if you are keeping a danger phrase and a power phrase list, which I encourage everybody to do, put on your danger phrase list, it's okay. Also put on your danger phrase list, I'm sorry. Because a lot of people go around apologizing to people all the time, you know, asking other people for forgiveness when there's no reason to do that. And the more often you go around saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If you didn't hear me say this before, sexual predators will go to the grocery store and they will bang their carts into women's carts as they pass them in the aisle, because it is the women, and much more women than men do this, it is the women who say, I'm sorry, as you bang into them, that make the easier mark later on when they hunt them. Keep that in mind. We all want to watch the phrase, I'm sorry, and don't let it come out of your mouth as a habit. You know what I mean? If you need to apologize for something, when you say to somebody, Andrew, I want you to know I was wrong and I apologize. You can forgive me for just about anything when I say that, right?
Yes.
Yes! But if I were to say to you, oh, I'm really sorry if I hurt your feelings, do you forgive me at all?
Yes.
No. Say no.
No.
No. Because remember that when we are forgiving, there's no if that comes after forgiveness. And the common thread that all successful forgivers, I'm going to call them, have in common is they will tell you, Andrew,
Yeah.
what's her name? You know, Lucy Magoosey?
Her name.
Yeah, come on, we're all friends here. We'll call her
Mary.
Teresa.
Okay.
Mala Teresa. Mala! Did you forgive her? Have you forgiven her in your heart?
Yeah, we're friends.
Okay. Why did you forgive her?
Because if she didn't want to be with me, it's okay, but she's not going to be with me.
Okay, that's a big theme where Andrew just said if she doesn't want to be with me, that's okay. So before we get into the exact reason, we have to remember, imagine the possibility that whatever happened that we're holding, what if that's okay? You know, what if it's okay that that person chose to tell you something other than the truth? What if it's okay if you didn't deserve to know the truth? What if it's okay that they left you, that they went another way? What if that's okay? What if they did not fulfill their obligation because something else happened? What if their love for you changed form? What if all of that is okay? What if it's okay that they took what you perceived to be more and left you with less? What if they humiliated you? What if they embarrassed you? What if all of that is okay? That's a big deal. Just to say to ourselves, maybe it's okay. Because really, what meaning am I ascribing to this? What meaning do I give this situation? The only meaning it has. So I have to remember that. And when you finally did forgive, you know, Shelley, Miss Thing, you did it for what, Andrew?
For me.
That's right, because you're a selfish person, right, Andrew?
Yes, I am.
Yes, he is. And we all have to be, what is it saying? Hello from England, hey! Before we move along, are you the England person who was here with us yesterday, desperately hanging in there with us while we tried to get the live feed going? Is that you?
I don't know. He hasn't answered. His name is 64 Circles.
Well, 64 Circles, if you were here with us yesterday and you woke up for this or stayed up late for this and sat through and suffered with us yesterday, thank you for coming back again today. I appreciate that. We were just talking about the big thing that forgivers have in common. They are selfish. And here's what I mean by that. Many times, we are not selfish enough when we communicate. You know, when I forgive you, I have to remember, I don't do that for you. I do that for me. Because how am I going to forgive somebody who hurt my mother? You know what I mean? I would harbor something against somebody who hurt intentionally. Like, let's say that there was, you know, my nephew Eamon, he's in one of his first jobs right now. Let's say that there was a malicious woman named Maribel who who set out to sabotage his first job when he was doing a 5-star bang-up job. She decided to, out of fear, sabotage him. How could I forgive her for that? That's difficult. How could I forgive someone I love for cheating on me? You know what I mean? And choosing me second when I always chose them first.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yes.
Right? Because many times we forget, if I'm going to show you, you know, if I want you to, if I want you to learn a lesson, you know, if I want you to somehow be a better person and stop doing that, you know, if I want you to somehow get over this personality defect that's causing you to hurt me or hurt other people, the only way to truly teach somebody a lesson is to teach by example. And I have to step back, and instead of teaching you any lesson, I have to let you, I have to let you do whatever it is that you did. And all I can really do is forgive you for me, because I'm going to show you what what love really is. My love for you, no matter who you are, if you're the checkout lady at the grocery store, if you're the lunch lady, if you're the receptionist at work, my love for you is totally independent of your love or lovelessness that you are showing me. That's real power. And if I want you to be more loving, how about I start showing you what a loving person looks like? And what a loving person looks like might be somebody who says, it's okay that you made that mistake. That mistake that you just made is the same mistake I have made in a different form. We are all struggling. We have different forms of the same affliction. That is it. So when I think about somebody that betrayed me, that hurt me, that stole from me, I think we can all think to ourselves, haven't I done that, and maybe in a different form? How could I harbor that, which is not going to do anything to you, but it's going to hurt me? How can I harbor that when I have done the same thing? Maybe it's, like the 9 Principles says, the real issue when we can't forgive somebody else is because we can't forgive who, Andrew? Ourselves. Because we see that sin or that error or that crime that you have committed as so egregious because we see it in ourselves. Now of course, who is the woman that I talked about? The girl who's kidnapped? Smart. Elizabeth Smart. I don't think she saw a kidnapper and captor inside of herself. I don't think that people who are victims of gun violence somehow see themselves, as doing that. However, the ones who can forgive, I do see as recognizing that person who did me wrong, who betrayed me, who hurt me, who treated me with lovelessness, is just as innocent or guilty as I am. It has to be that way because there are certain laws of the universe. You are either innocent or not. I am either innocent or not. I might see things, the wrong way every now and then, but we are innocent. And when you start to go through like the 9 Principles, Andrew, did we put a link of the 9 Principles in this?
No, but we should at the end.
Remember, those of you who want a VIP membership, which entitles you to all of our programs, the 9 Principles touches a lot on forgiveness and why we forgive, the process of forgiving, so that you can really strengthen your forgiveness muscles. You don't start with your ex-wife who cheated on you with your best friend. Okay, don't start with that. Start with Andrew stole your sandwich and you need to get over it because, depending on what you may believe, generally in what we are all kind of going towards in life, we're all going to the same destination when it comes right down to it. For us to be what we are supposed to be, remember who we were when we first came here, that transformational process that we are all striving for, always, no matter what train of thought you believe, no matter what religion you subscribe or don't subscribe to, whether you just believe in science, true transformation can only come after a crucifixion. That's you cannot resurrect and transform into what really we already were until you have been broken down and crucified. That's just part of the process. You know what I mean? Like a butterfly doesn't just sprout wings or a caterpillar doesn't sprout wings. His feet don't just fall off and all of a sudden it becomes a butterfly. He breaks down into a cosmic goo and then remerges as a whole different being. Like the DNA in the molecules and everything, they destruct and then they come back. So when you are feeling particularly crucified or done wrong, that is part of the process of resurrection, becoming more of what we really are. And whatever happened to us, whatever we are holding, if we remember, it is only a different form of the same affliction that we all suffer from. And if I can't forgive you, that means I can't forgive my nephew, Amen. That means I can't forgive Andrew. He needs a lot of forgiveness. That means I can't forgive my mother. But if I can, if I say, I am doing this, Andrew, I am forgiving you, not for you, for me. It's because this is all about me. And at the same time, it's all about you. But there's a special little secret that I have when it comes to forgiveness that I'm going to share with you. Do we have any Dan O'Connor Training members online right now?
No, we don't.
We don't! Dan O'Connor Training, you guys have to become members. Okay, I'm going to share with you what is my secret weapon for forgiveness, okay? When I'm really struggling forgiving somebody, why do I do that? Here's why I do that. Andrew.
Yeah.
Are you a religious person?
Not really.
Okay. I'm not really a religious person. I try to get a little bit of a lot of different religions. I studied the theology of love when I was in college. It was a new what do you call it? A new, what do they call that? A focus, a new, it was a new course of study. I like religions, I like love, I like stories that ring true to us because truth always whispers to us, truth, 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 truth. And you can recognize when something has some truth. So, Andrew.
Yeah.
Do you have a core religion that you'd say you are?
Yeah.
What is that?
Christian.
Okay. So, hold on a second, I lost my train of thought. So hold on a minute. You're a Christian. We're talking about your core beliefs and why. Oh, okay. So you believe that, for example, God. Do you call God God? Is that
Yes.
Okay? So Andrew believes that God is above all of the mortal laws of space and time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
If God wanted to, if Andrew's God, I tend to call that love because I believe in my mind that the way I can picture things and make sense of the universe is the source behind everything in me, in Andrew's. I'm just going to call that love. Love will keep us together. That's really what the molecules together. Captain and Tennille, they knew it. That is not subject to any laws of space or time, right? No. Andrew, in the past, you've needed a little forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever laid in bed at night thinking, oh my God, I really don't know how I'm going to go on tomorrow because of the guilt and shame that I feel right now. I don't know who's going to be able to lift this from me, who's going to be able to forgive me, but I feel so guilt and shame ridden. I don't know how I'm going to go on. Does that ever happen to you?
Every night.
Does it? Does it? It does not. It does not. Does it?
Yeah.
We gotta get Andrew some therapy is what we need to get him. Every night you think I'm so guilty, and is it because of something that you're doing? That's not a sin, Andrew.
Well, I think about if I'm gonna go into heaven or not.
You do? You think if you're going into heaven or not? Yeah. See, my brother is not. He's what would you call it? An agnostic? Somebody who doesn't believe in anything. Yeah. And so he's, whether he puts it in these words or not, he's afraid of dying because he thinks when he closes his eyes, that's it. He's done. No more Marty O'Connor. And that's pretty scary to him. You're scared of maybe going to hell?
Probably.
Okay. This is important then. When I forgive you, Andrew. Oops, I have 2%. Oh my gosh, my phone is gonna die. Okay, wait a sec. Andrew, yeah. When I forgive you, this is the biggie, okay?
Okay.
Hold on.
No problem.
Hold on, this is the important one. When I forgive you, it's kind of like, did you know that the word forgive is one of, the word forgive comes from the word give, of course. But the word give when you give something, the actual meaning of the word, I think it's called like ivge, give yay, or it sounded like Pig Latin when I was researching it. But the word give means I'm giving you something with an expectation of getting something back. You know, almost always when we give something to somebody, even if it's what we would consider love, it's because we think we're getting something back. And therefore, we feel many times.
You want me to help?
No, that's okay. We feel many times ripped off. You know, if we thought, hey, hey, love, you're not love at all. You know, when we think to ourselves, somebody that we loved, hey. And it could be a coworker kind of love. We're reconnecting. We are live. Okay. This should stay on. We are done. Okay. So, Andrew.
Yes.
What were we? We were just at the end of. Oh, it's this low battery. We were just at the end of talking about why we forgive people. Okay, so Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay. When we forgive people. Oh, wait a minute. We had a couple of questions from the audience we had some questions about people saying, why would you forgive a narcissist? Isn't that just feeding into what could you read that question? Okay, the question is, what about narcissists? If you forgive them, aren't you just feeding into their narcissism and giving them what they want, right?
Yeah.
First of all, any.
Are we back?
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm going to wrap it up. Anytime you think about, isn't that just giving them what they want? That's what we should do. So that's never going to be a bad thing, even when it's a narcissist. Especially because when we think that way, I don't just want to give them what they want. We're making it all about the narcissist. We are not trying to be a better version of the narcissist. We are not living this experience and trying to remember who we, the narcissist, were. This is about us. And so if I'm forgiving you, that's not about you, the narcissist. That is about me. What you did is about you. Me forgiving you is about me and who I am. And if I start to fall into that trap of, wouldn't that just be giving them what they want? Why is that a bad thing? Just at the beginning when we talked about, why would it be a bad thing? We have these labels, staying together forever. If you're, in a romantic relationship, good. Breaking up, bad. Why do we have these labels? That this means success and this means failure. If I happen to be giving you something that you want so that you can get unstuck, at the same time I am fulfilling my destiny of forgiving, why is that a bad thing? And it's not about, am I teaching you a lesson, or isn't that, feeding into their narcissism? It's not about that. Forgiveness is about me. Because we were talking about the word origin. Anytime you give something, you have an expectation of getting something back, which is why so many times we feel frustrated because we gave something to somebody, mostly love. It's all about love. I gave you something and you weren't at all who you pretended to be, love. You tricked me. You abandoned me when I needed you the most. I thought you were somebody that you weren't. And that is unforgivable. That's the type of crap we think, that's the type of crazy thoughts that go through our brain. But if I just recognize this is one lesson in love that we are all experiencing right now. And so when I forgive the narcissist, for example, again, that's not saying go ahead and do whatever it is that you did over and over again at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're going to take steps so that whatever that behavior is doesn't continue around me. I'm going to have to retrain you to treat me, possibly. But the behavior up until this point, that is forgiven because that is about me. And, Andrew, Mr. I lie in bed every night, wondering if I'm in hell.
Yes.
Andrew, you're God that does not abide by the laws of time and space, right? When you are forgiving. Forgiving is a variation of the word give, but it's different in the sense that it is the only time, according to the origin of the word, it is the only time we can give something and there is no expectation of anything in return. When we forgive somebody, that is a singular, it is a one-sided event. It is, energetically speaking, it is going in one direction. I forgive you. There is nothing to be gained from that. There is no return on that I'm getting. It is the only time in my existence that I can actually behave as God behaves, that I can actually be like my creator, which would be my natural state, right? Because we are all made up of God. It's in me, but it's not of me. I am made up of God. I am not God. But when I forgive other people, I'm entering the state that is closest as I will ever be to being God, because God forgives us just because. Just like when we forgive our kids, we forgive them. That's the end of it, because the love that we have is as close as it can possibly get to the love of God, right? So, Andrew, the next time you are trying to forgive somebody,
Okay.
and you think, how could I forgive him or her for, I'm really struggling with that. Remember, Andrew, who's lying in his bed at night, worrying about, am I going to hell? My mother, I'm sure, worries about, that wretched wife and mother that she was when she was, when she was destroying her family unit in the universe in one fell swoop, and need a little forgiveness. My mother is the most forgiving person I've ever met in my whole life. I don't know if this is how she views it, but I believe this comes into play. Just as when I forgive you, I'm acting as God acts, as close as I will ever get to it, and the love that is going through me, that is of me, or that is in me but not of me, is as pure as it will ever get. That, just like God, can transcend space and time. And when I forgive you, I'm not necessarily forgiving you, Andrew, who betrayed me. I am forgiving you because I am forgiving, and there's no getting anything back from that, other than I am also transcending space and time and going back to the Dan O'Connor or to the Andrew that was lying in his bed and saying, I'm giving a little bit of this forgiveness to you right now. And you can actually heal a wound in the past and prevent it from actually going forward into the future. Atonement is instantaneous. It has no limits. It's everywhere, all the time, or it's nowhere, none of the time. And when you decide to forgive somebody else, you are forgiving that Andrew who's lying in his bed. My mother, when I see her forgive people, because she is a bottomless pit of forgiveness, all you have to do to my mother is say, I am really sorry. Please forgive me. And she will, no matter what it is that you did. She will help you bury the body, and you can talk about what happened leading up to that later on. But she'll forgive you and bury the body with you. I know that my mother, seeing her as the whole person that she is, and the loving person that she is, she's a very, I believe when I look at her, she's a very energetic person. She beams. I believe it's because she forgives everyone around her. And so whether or not she realizes it, she is forgiving the woman that needed it so much in the past that I saw who needed forgiveness. And I used to think shame is a very unhealthy emotion, Mom. It's not worth it. I always used to think to my mother, forgive yourself. No one cares, lady, about these big things that you think are these mortal sins. She cared. Every time you forgive somebody else, you forgive yourself, because it is one relationship. The trinity of relationship is I have a relationship with me, I have a relationship with my maker, and I have a relationship with everyone else on the planet, all three of those at the same time. That's the trinity. When I forgive one, I forgive all of them. And I am doing that ipso facto to me, for me. This is about me. I am transcending space and time and forgiving Dan O'Connor that needed it in the past. Just like sometimes when we give, some money to people who need it for no other reason than just to do it, I'm giving that to Dan O'Connor who needed it in the past. And I don't even know what wounds I have healed because they didn't even exist anymore. When you act as God acts and you go and you heal that Andrew in the past, I believe in the train of thought that is, when we are in a loveless state of mind, we are just hallucinating. It's not real. There's love and there's loveless. Love has power, anything else does not. And so when I'm healing the wounds of the past, I'm not just healing them. I'm filling in the lovelessness with love. And there might be things that I needed that I no longer need because I have gone back in the past and atoned. And I don't even know it because we can become time travelers. We can become space, space. We can be at two places at the same time, just as science tells us we can. How? By a shift in perception, which is what will happen when you shift your perception and you start to see things and forgive things in a different way. That is what a miracle is. And you can have miraculous relationships, lead a miraculous life, and really feel what a miracle is when you all of a sudden go, oh my God, it's true. I have healed that. I am a different person than I was before I forgave that person. And it wasn't about them at all. It never is. It was about me. That's the common thread, that all people who have successfully forgiven and gotten unstuck and moved along in their life, all of them have that in common, where they say, I did not forgive my captor for him or her. I did that for me. There was some lady who was in Auschwitz who was talking about how I needed to take back the power that they had. I couldn't keep giving that to them every single day. The only way to do that was for me to forgive them in my heart. Since I have done that, I've been able to move on. Yet some of us, we can't forgive our coworker because they badmouthed us during a lunch break, or they kissed our boyfriend. Did they gas chamber you? Did they crucify you? Because the people that we know of in history, that there's a ring of truth to their story. After they had these horrible experiences, they forgave. But we can't forgive people because they took credit for an idea of ours at work. That is about us. And once we can get past the little things, go for the big things. But remember, when you forgive somebody, it's the only thing you can do without an expectation of a return. You will become a time traveler, a miracle worker, a healer, and you do it for yourself, and you do it to yourself in the past, present, and the future. So having said that, Andrew,
Yeah.
did anybody have any questions or anything? I know I lost just about everybody in the past couple of days on these little lessons in forgiveness. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something really embarrassing from Andrew's past, and I'm going to put it out here on YouTube so that tomorrow we can use that as a lesson in forgiveness. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you for everybody else. If you have not yet asked Jean, if you have not yet asked Jean for your 50% off of a VIP membership coupon, send Jean a letter at jean@danoconnortraining.com and she will give you a 50% off coupon for our VIP membership. Men, you will love this because if you have backstabbing, passive aggressive, negative people in your workplace, and women, but men tend to tell me, this is what I'm dealing with. All these negative people, what do I do? With that one membership, everybody in your team forever can use our training resources to help combat and defeat negative attitudes and toxic relationships at work, at home, and every place else. And you only have to buy that once. And then you can just tell them, go to danoconnor.training.com. Also, Principles is a new program that I have, and that is also included in the VIP program that you can get half off if you write jean@danoconnortraining.com. So, anything else, Andrew?
Opinions on Nathan Patrick Shags Soul Campbell?
Opinion on who?
You can read it down below.
Okay, I'll try. Opinion on Nathan Partridge Shags Soul Campbell. Opinions on Nathan Partridge Shag's Sol Campbell. That sounds familiar. I hate to expose my ignorance in front of everybody, but what is that? Nathan Partridge Shag's.
If you want, I could Google.
Yeah, could you? We're gonna look that up. Nathan Partridge. Now, by the way, it gets hot here, so don't judge me and my bladder buster. By the way, I just got the new Samsung S. Well, Andrew's looking this up. I just got the new Samsung S10 Plus fancy schmancy phone. Does anybody have any tips on what I can do with it? Because I love it, but I still have not yet mastered it, as you can tell. You found anything?
He's a fisicoculturista.
Is it altruist? He's a what? Physicist?
Yeah.
Oh, is he kind of like a Brian Greene? Is he a quantum physicist?
No, he's like Arnold Armstrong. I mean.
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
He's a
Physical culturist.
Oh. I don't have an opinion. How is he famous? Does he have a television program? Or
I don't know.
what's his name again? I'm gonna look. I guess break in the show. So thank you, everybody. Goodbye. My mom is saying hang up. Thank you by Nathan Partridge Shag Campbell. Nathan Partridge Shag Campbell. Okay. Okay. Partridge gets restrained. Oh, I see. There's a domestic violence story going on here. Oh, I have no idea. I just have no idea. Did he kill her? Did he kill her? Maybe he killed her. Hold on.
I hope not.
I hope not, but I'm guessing that there was a tragic story here. Oh my gosh. He's not like the teen Tiger Beat guy, is he? The Partridge Family guy? I don't know. But I think most of us who are anywhere interested in the topic of forgiveness, we all carry around a horrific world and story in us. It's amazing what people can live through and walk around acting normal despite on a day-to-day basis. And I think that once you start to hear other people's stories of forgiveness, if you have trouble forgiving somebody, if this guy, it looks like there was a domestic violence issue here. I don't know anything about it. When you have trouble forgiving those types of things, support groups are phenomenal because you can hear other people's stories of forgiveness and how they did it. So it's time for me. Is somebody out there? Did you check who's out there?
Yeah.
We're being stalked. I gotta go. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to take more questions and comments in the super chat. You can still chat, and I will get them. For everybody here at Dan O'Connor Training, thank you all so much. This is Dan O'Connor. Forgive yourself. Signing off.